To Andrew Hoyam, letterpress printing may be old technology, but it certainly has a place in the 21st century.
We don't just do letterpress printing because we think it's quaint and wonderful. It is wonderful. Letterpress printing provides an aesthetic experience that it cannot be achieved by more modern methods. In letterpress printing, the type is pressed into the paper, and you're seeing a three-dimensional object in that sheet of paper. It's a little bit like seeing an engraved inscription or letters that have been cut in stone, because you're seeing shadow as well as the inked image of the type. But aside from that, we will use whatever process, printing process, binding process, seems most appropriate for the book. Some of our books have been composed using the computer for computer-generated typography. And in fact, I used the computer extensively in the making of the Bible. We brought together late 19th century technology with late 20th, early 21st century technology to an end that I think will have a high aesthetic result.
The only thing Arion Press doesn't do is produce its own paper. Every other step of fine bookmaking is done in-house. In the back of the shop, you find the last functioning type foundry in the United States. Some of the machines date back to 1915. The man in charge is Lewis Mitchell. He has been casting perfect letters on those old machines for a long time.
I have been working here since Lincoln's birthday, 1950. And I used to tell people, well, I've been working here a little over 50 years, but somebody made the horrible statement that I've been here for over a half a century. Now that sounded old.
Mitchell is a true veteran of the printing trade. He took a printing class in high school and then started as an apprentice at Mackenzie Harris, the type foundry, which is now part of Arion Press.
The second day I worked here, I put a matrix in the Thompson wrong. Colonel Harris walked by and asked how I was doing, how I liked it, and I was so nervous I put it in wrong, and I got a tremendous squirt that's had lead going in all directions. He had a brand new, tailor-made cashmere suit on, and I ruined it. I burned his suit beyond repair. And I thought, uh-oh, I'm out of here. A week later, I said something to him, and he says, I never had a cashmere suit, and let it go at that.
As Mitchell is casting the last flawless pages of the Bible, he remembers the difficulties when the project started.
In all theories, computers don't make mistakes. But at the very beginning, when we first started running this, every line had maybe 4 or 5 mistakes. Of course, we threw all those away until we finally got it down to where it was running perfect. I was about ready to pull hair out.
Creating letterpress books requires tremendous precision and skill. The letters are cast from molten lead and composed into pages. In the old days, it used to be done one letter at a time by hand, and today it's mostly done by the casting machines.
A keyboard operator perforates a tape, which in turn runs the casting machine, which ultimately casts the type.
Peter Stolzel has been with Arion Press since 1974. He makes the job of the keyboard operator sound easy, but it looks like an impossible task. There are 2 sides to the keyboard, one for bold letters, one for normal letters. He has to consult tables for font and font size. Think about justification and hyphenation all at the same time. His apprenticeship took 6 years.
Most difficult part for me personally right now is sometimes to be back here in the fall when it's about 115 degrees back here, and this caster is going in my ear and those casters are going in my ear, and it's very difficult to hear yourself. And I don't know, I mean, it's psychological, I know, but when you hit a character, you need to hear it, because if you don't hear it, you don't really know whether you hit it or not, and I have a really hard time with that.
Even though Stolzel has to focus on many technical details, he is keenly aware of what he is typing.
What's funny is that every once in a while you get to a passage where it kind of gets exciting, you know, And the hard part is not to jump ahead and find out what's going to happen. It's to stay where you are and to stay focused where you are. And sometimes it gets so bad, I just stop and I read ahead and then I go back.
In each press run, 2 pages are printed simultaneously. Those 2 pages locked up in a chase are called forms and are quite heavy. In the case of the Bible, each form weighs 100 pounds. It takes 2 people to place each form into the press, and it takes quite a bit of math to figure out which 4 pages are printed onto each sheet of paper. All those calculations are done before the sheets fly through the giant printing press and get checked by Hoyam and pressman Gerald Redan. It's a process that requires meticulous attention and a lot of experience. After pages are printed and approved, the forms are taken apart and melted down to cast new letters, a process that is called killing out dead forms.
Each page contains different kinds of metal that we have to sort out. They can't all be mixed in together.
Most members of the Arion Press team have worked there for a decade or longer. They share a passion and a dedication to letterpress printing.
There is definitely a need for this craft, and I hope it continues for many, many years, even after I'm gone.